Hi there, my name's Elizabeth Huffman. I'm here to talk about women's rights and wanted to just share some topics regarding love and justice and what I found after watching two movies. I watched the movie Gosnell, a untold story of America's most prolific serial killer. And I also watched 3801 Lancaster Avenue. I came across these movies when listening to a Christian radio station. And it's a little excerpt called The Public Forum. And they were debating abortion. And this was a big federal case that came up and caught my interest. So I just want to give a little history of the case. Kermit Gosnell is a Baptist, grew up in the Baptist faith, and became a doctor. And he now resides in the PA State Correctional Institute. He was indicted on 3 first-degree murders and 1 manslaughter and 231 charges of against the Abortion Control Act. In 1972, he and this other doctor came across. I probably should say I don't know if anybody's sensitive, but there are some language that can be harmful or sensitive to the ears. If those kind of things affect you, you just may not want to listen to things I might have to say, because these two movies were very sad and very heart-wrenching. So that being said, in 1972, these two doctors came up with a tool to perform abortions. They were basically just kind of blades that went into the woman's uterus and pulled the fetus out. And 12 women were heavily injured. And the state health department and the board of medicine let it sit on their desk, and Kermit Gosnell was never pressed charges against, neither was the other doctor, and he was allowed to keep practicing. He continued to open up a clinic and thought in his mind that he was serving justice because women began to come in and asking him to terminate their pregnancies. He's a very, people describe him as well-respected, loving, kind, generous, gentle. And the DA of Pennsylvania or Philadelphia describes him otherwise by calling him a charismatic sociopath. Because in 2002, his clinic... he was giving medication out and anesthesia out by unlicensed workers. And this woman by the name of Shamika Shaw ended up passing away. Her uterus prolapsed and she became septic. They reused tools that were meant for one use only. Women were heavy numbers of STDs and things like this. These cases continued to be reported to the state health department. The state health department said, we do not go to abortion clinics to look at them because we do not want to draw attention to them, and we want women to be free to go to these clinics. And so he did not have any inspections. In fact, they said the hair salons and the pizza salons around him had more inspections than his abortion clinic did. So in 2002 was the first death. Later in 2009, Carmia Monger passed away. She was overdosed on anesthesia. So in the meantime, the abortions continue. And the place in 2010 was brought down because of it got out that there were some drugs there, some illicit drugs, and the police department go in and they find the place just filthy. Cats, blood, very unhygienic, equipment that's not working, workers that are just not equipped to deal with these kind of surgeries, and cat litter boxes everywhere and things like that. So that being said, they do a search warrant, and he ends up getting arrested. At that time, they had found jars and jars of fetuses and bags of human bodies. So he ends up indicted. Some of the women that are quoted on the movie talk about some of the internalized oppression from not being able to have children ever again. He is quoted in the movie having said, that he believes after reading Genesis through Revelation that human life begins with the breath in Genesis 2:17. He believes that, let's see, where are my notes on him, that it makes him more comfortable with his decision, and it expresses the truth that life begins with breath. I don't think abortion is happy for anybody, but the decision is best for them as well as society. There is no good answer. I believe in my innocence, and many people do too. After having gone back to the Stassen and Gushy books and reading more about love and justice, and comparing it with sacrificial love, and D. Williams' version of love on page 111 and 112 talks about real love and real otherness. Real otherness allows the person to be a person, not to destroy or get absorbed in the other. Also affirms the accepted freedom of the other, and that there is no impartial judgment, and justice is uncalculating. There's a concern for the need of the neighbor. It's very evident that Gosnell did not have any concern as he was aborting these babies, inducing labor at over 24 weeks, and then killing the baby once they were born alive. It was just morally blind. I also believe that eliminating, in his attempts to help these poor, impoverished women, he actually was dominating and domineering and oppressing these women by changing the face of healthcare, marginalizing these women. And, the health department did nothing to stand up for the women, as well as the state did nothing to stand up for the women. The outcome is that, like De La Tour said, that women are property, women are human incubators, women are the weaker sex, and that women are the cause of evil. And it sure seems that he saw them that way, in the way that he treated their bodies as well as their babies. With him being indicted in 2013, they changed the laws, and now abortion clinics are mandated to be cleaned for safety and health inspections. I don't know, there's no restitution, I don't believe, being paid to the patients, especially for the internalized oppression. But we know that behind bars, he's not able to do that anymore. So that's all I got. Thanks for letting me share.